there will be no more delayed. And it makes sense if we're talking about trumpets, boom, 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 one in succession, one after another, final events being rapid ones, they will not be delayed. They will not be more delayed or no more holding back. So guess what? In chapter 8, we have the seventh seal, and then the first four trumpets, which before were being held back. Now we have the book and seal, and no more delayed or no more holding back. Huh? No more holding back or what? Everything is on a roll now. Everything is going to go on a roll. Okay. Give me your thumbs up if you're following. Your thumbs up. Everybody following so far? Okay. Now I want you to notice this, because I'm going to ask you a question. Whoever has the answer quickly, they can answer to me. Okay. When you read this, what chapter in the Old Testament comes to mind when you read about the angel standing in the sea and in the land and saying something regarding to time and so on? What chapter?
Daniel 12.
Daniel chapter 12. Okay, now when we're looking at that Daniel chapter 12, and we'll have a word on it. But now, verse 8. In verse 8 says this: Then the voice which I heard from heaven spoke to me and said, Go, take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel who stands on the sea and on the earth. So I went to the angel and said to him, Give me the little book. And he said to me, Take and eat it, and it will make your stomach bitter, but it will be as sweet as honey in your mouth. Then I took the little book and the angel of the angel's hand and ate it, and it was as sweet as honey in my mouth. But when I had eaten it, my stomach became bitter. And he said to me, You must prophesy again about many peoples, nations, tongues, and kings. Now, I mentioned before how we have this puzzle of the Titanic, this Lego puzzle of the Titanic with thousands of pieces, and you can make little boats out of those pieces. Those are applications. Okay. Now, we can look into here and we can see the great disappointment. Okay? The great disappointment can actually be found here. But I want you to notice something. If we follow the progression, the linear progression, we are actually talking at what time in history? If we're talking now, the trumpets are being released, no more holding back, and now the book is being opened. The book that was sealed is now being opened, and now he's been told, eat of the book. It will be sweet in your mouth and bitter in the stomach. Now, what chapter in the book in the Old Testament this calls to your mind? If anybody has a chapter, just I'll give you a few seconds to tell me chapter and book in the Old Testament where this is actually outlined. If not,
Ezekiel
I'll tell Ezekiel chapter 2. Ezekiel chapter 2. Yes, if you go to Ezekiel chapter 2, come with me to Ezekiel chapter 2, and you tell me if this is not amazingly close. Because people look at Revelation chapter 10 and take you to Daniel 12. And there is an aspect of Daniel 12 for sure, no question about that. But I want you to notice on what happens in Ezekiel chapter 2. So Ezekiel chapter 2, verse 6 and onwards. Okay, verse 6 and onwards, and then we'll go to chapter 3 also. Ezekiel 2 verse 6 and onwards, it says, And you, son of man, do not be afraid of them, nor be afraid of their words, though briars and thorns are with you, and you dwell among scorpions. You dwell among what? Scorpions. Now, the dwelling of the scorpions is anywhere around the 5th trumpet. Now notice, Do not be afraid of their works or dismayed by their looks, though they are a rebellious house. You shall speak my words to them, whether they hear or whether they refuse, for they are rebellious. But you, son of man, hear what I say to you. Do not be rebellious like the rebellious house. Open your mouth and eat what I give you. Now, when I looked, there was a hand stretched out to me, and behold, a scroll of a book was in it. Then he spread it before me, and there was writing on the inside and on the outside, and written on it were lamentations and moanings and woe. Oh man, does that sound similar? Now notice to chapter 3. Moreover, he said to me, son of man, eat what you find. Eat this scroll and go. Speak to the house of Israel. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that scroll. So he caused him to eat the scroll, and then he tells him to go and prophesy, isn't it? Same as in Revelation 10. Eat of the book and then prophesy again. Now notice. And verse 3, and he said to me, son of man, feed your belly and fill your mouth with this scroll that I give you. So I ate, and it was in my mouth like honey in sweetness. How many of you, just a run through, how many of you have never actually read Ezekiel 2 connecting it to Revelation 10? Okay, but it's fairly obvious, isn't it? It's like a mirror. Look, notice this. Then he said to me, son of man, go to the house of Israel and speak with my words to them. For you are not sent to people of unfamiliar speech and of a hard language, but to the house of Israel. Not to many people of unfamiliar speech and the hard language, whose words you cannot understand. Surely had I sent you to them, they will have listened to you. But the house of Israel will not listen to you, because they will not listen to me. For all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-hearted. Behold, I have made your faces strong against their faces. So in other words, the perception of your face before them will be like a strong face. In other words, you're just a narrow-minded person. You know, the perception of your face before them is like a strong face. That's what the perception will be. Verse 9. Like adamant stone, harder than flint, I have made your forehead. Do not be afraid of them, nor be dismayed of their looks, though they are a rebellious house. Moreover, he said to me, son of man, receive into your heart all my words that I speak to you, and hear with your ears, and go get the captives to the children of your people. So he meant to go and get the captives set free to them and tell them, thus says the Lord God, whether they hear or whether they refuse. Then the Spirit lifted me up, and I heard behind me a great thunderous voice. No, they thunder. Thunderous voice. Blessed is the glory of the Lord from his place. And also heard the noise of the wings of the living creatures that touch one another, and the noise of the wheels beside them, and great thunderous noise. So the Spirit lifted me up and took me away, and I went. How? In bitterness, in the heat of my spirit, but the hand of the Lord was strong upon me. All right, all right, all right. He eats the words. He eats of the book, and the words of the Lord is so honey in the mouth. And goes and prophesies. But when he goes to prophesize, the perception of him on the faces of them is like if he's a strong man. They don't want to hear. He goes there to set the captives free with the words of the Lord in his heart and mouth, and they're sweet. But what is the spirit? What is the experience? It's a bitter experience for Ezekiel because they don't listen. They don't want to listen.